Hi, welcome back to the channel again. This time I promised I might make a few more on a regular basis, but today we're looking at, as the title suggests, 1,000 plus tomatoes from one tomato tree. Yes, okay, it's done. Now let's have a look at it. Now there's two different types of tomato plants that you can buy. One is called determinate, and the determinate tomato plant will actually grow a certain height, give you a certain amount of tomatoes, and then it will start to die, right? The non-determinate tomato plants will continue to grow if you let it until, say, a frost kills them or a really cold spell will kill them. Now today we're going to look at the non-determinate one, and it's a cherry tomato. Now I actually was surprised how many tomatoes this plant was giving me that I actually started counting. So I counted, say, more than 1,000 tomatoes, little cherry tomatoes on the plant before I had enough. And plus half, they say about a third of the plant, I could not reach them. And let's show you. Now what I did, I left the skeletal part of that plant. So if you come in and let's have a look above me, and you can see the dried parts of the branches. Dried parts of the branches, if you can scan all around, plus around here, if you lift it up on the high, and then, right, so that's all the dry parts, and at the back you can see I couldn't do it. But if you come back here and scan in here, you'll see two stems. There's one stem, right, that I started pruning before I it was just overwhelming, and there's the other stem. So they had two different stems that were growing out from. Now if you follow me over here, I'll show you one that's actually active and alive now, and you'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean, and if you lift it up, you'll see what you see is one tomato plant. And that's what happens if you let it go. One tomato plant, cherry, it's gone crazy. Now if I let it go and start picking, there'll be well over 1,000 tomatoes here. So you can have a look everywhere. And just this one's a new one, and I already destroyed half of it. But anyway, so let's continue on. All right. Now I want to show you the differences in tomatoes, how you can deal with them. The non-determinate ones, the ones that'll grow like crazy. Now if you pan to here, you see one here, and I've put it in the tripod. This is one single tomato plant, and this is a cherry tomatoes. This is the more modern cherry tomato, and you can see the size of the tomato. You can see them, and okay, so now if you span up, so this is a tripod stand that I made for that one. Actually grew from the ground wild. So this is a wild tomato. Look at the size of the tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, they're huge. Now, so this one here, it has about 300 altogether tomatoes, green and ripe already. So at the moment, and it'll have probably number 200 or 300 exactly in its lifetime, because I haven't got much room for it. I'll see what happens. Now if you pan over here, and we'll look at the original cherry tomatoes. So here they are, and we'll see the size. So these are the original cherries, heirloom cherry tomatoes. You can see the size in my hand, and you can see this one's maybe 4 times larger. So this is the original cherry tomatoes, the little ones here. So now, if you want to taste them, right, the smaller ones have a much better flavor than the larger one. But because I grow things organically, they both have a great flavor. But this one's like 2 to 3 times stronger, and this is a lot sweeter, the bigger ones. Now, so I love it when it's a little bit more acidic. This is a lot sweeter. Now I'll show you about pruning the tomatoes and what happens when you do prune them and you keep them in check continuously. Now let's go over here. Now if you come this way from the bottom, which is already we picked a lot of tomatoes up. If you scroll up this stem, scroll up, you can see the bunches or the hands of the tomatoes are not very far from each other, maybe about 15 centimeters. And these are smaller cherry tomatoes than the others. These are medium sized and the big one. You can see that one. So they're a lot smaller. Not a lot smaller, but half the size of the biggest. But a lot bigger than the normal original one. And I've got two stems. One's going that way that you see, and one's coming this way. See this stem? So there's the other stem that's coming out, and I've put it on two different stakes. So that's the other one. And that's about like this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 tomatoes on that cluster. Some a lot less, as you can see. Oh no, this one's got quite a few as well. So anything between 8 and 16 little cherry tomatoes in each cluster. Now, but I want to show you soon. This one's not as strong as the others in terms of flavor. It's very sweet. Now I want to show you this particular tomato plant. If you know anything about it, you can email me and tell me what the hell's going on. Now, we'll just move this out of the way. We've got a cluster of tomatoes here, right? I'll move this one out of the way because of the rain. Now, they're going ripe, ready to eat. Now, but at the end of the cluster, we get another full tomato tree. So that's your cluster here, if you can record it. Right here, we're splitting in at the end of the cluster of the tomatoes, the hand of tomatoes, we're splitting into two more fully grown tomato plants with tomatoes growing out of it. I've never seen anything like it. So there you go. That's something. If people know what that is and why that is, so please let me know and I'll taste it. I'm going to taste this tomato. And this one's grown well over 2 meters, which I've neglected some of it, but you can see it's splitting into two there. See here, into two heads.
Or three
so
heads.
1, 2. Where's the third one? I have to take it off.
Yeah.
No, it's
1, 2, 3.
No, two heads, two runners. Now, so that's what we're doing. And now now here, this classic example. This is what you prune. You look here, and you can see one new head forming, and there's the original one. So we just break that off. And why we break it off? You get bigger tomatoes, and there's less. So we just broke it off.
Oh.
Just leave it down for composting. And so that's why I don't want to plant too many tomatoes, because they're a handful. They're
very fast. So that, give us an estimate. Over there, it's spreading how long?
That's just the new one, maybe about a month and a half.
Oh, so along the fence, it took like a month and a half to grow that distance.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's just go crazy. If the
Wow.
soil is good, it'll go crazy. Okay. Now I know it's a very short video on tomatoes. Like like with them, for them to grow nicely like that, and you get a lot of tomatoes. Make sure that you fertilize them every 3 weeks. Like I use manures, organic sheep manure, which I'll show you in a minute. And if you've seen my video on fertilizers, you'll see the sheep manure, but I'll show it to you again. Now, once I show you the sheep manure, what we're going to do is the second section of the video is cooking, obviously. So what I'm going to make is a particular my style salsa, because I've got so many tomatoes. I've got to use them somehow. So we can make this sort of tomato salsa, tomato that you can use in pastas or whatever dishes you want. And this is my take on this salsa. So in a minute I'll show you, but let's have a look at the simple fertilizer used. Sheep fertilizer. Here it is. I buy it in bags like this. Literally sheep fertilizer. It's literally droppings of the sheep. I'm not sure if you can see it well. So I can open the bag and have a look. Let's have a look in the bag.
Yes.
There you go. Now, this sheep manure, or you can use cow manure, or you can use anything, whatever they sell, goat manure, pig manure. Do not use horse manure. That's the worst manure you can use. But if you want to use horse manure, make sure you compost it for about 7-8 months. You know, so what we're going to do now.
The reason for that is?
It's not as nutrition for the plants as they have, and it's very strong. And plus horses, if you get them racing horses, they'll have lots of antibiotics and things like that in their own feed, and because they got to keep their healthy and that, so they feed them a lot of you know,
Modern chemical poisons.
something like that. But what we're going to do, I'm going to show you some basil that we're going to include into our tomato salsa. So let's have a look here. Just going through my jungle, and we have basil, which I'm going to cut.
Tuscan kale.
Yeah, kale is. All right, so let's take some basil. There we go. One.
Hey, which way is the sun here?
Going like that.
That way. Okay.
So here's our basil. Oh, it smells divine. So basil, this is going to go in our salsa, and obviously other ingredients which I'll show you in a second. So let's go back in the kitchen. All right, well, we're in my kitchen again. Now what are we going to do is have to make a salsa. It takes very, very little time, and my main ingredient is obviously tomato, and you can add whatever you like to the tomato, but tomatoes, as I'm going to show you, this is my recipe. We got our little NutriBullet type of thing, so we're going to stack it with where I'm going to stack it, garlic. I'm going to stack it with some onion, Spanish red onion. So okay, go in there. Now I'm going to add some tomatoes that I picked earlier. I cut them. So we're going to add that to that. Maybe it won't fit everything. Maybe I should cut them finer. Now, all right. So that's one thing. Now, obviously, we're going to add basil. But what I'll do first, I'll whisk this up. But what I do again, add some extra virgin olive oil, maybe about 20-30 mils. Okay. Now, also in that I'll add some apple cider vinegar, organic apple cider vinegar, the mother culture, just maybe about 20 mils. Okay. Add a little bit of pink salt. There we go. Some pink salt in there, and it's up to your taste. I won't add too much because I've got another thing that's going to be part of. Now, next thing to do, we're going to whiz it, which is very easy and simple. Okay, but all right, now because I've put too many tomatoes in there, I'll just blend it and reduce the volume of it, and I'm going to add basil to it. That's the only thing that's missing for this one is the basil. So I'll come over here and I'll just blend it. It'll take like, you know, very, very short time. Now, so let me just blend it here. It'd be a good idea if I plug it in. Okay, here we go. Now, ready? Okay, that bit's done. Now I'm going to go put some basil in there. Alright, so let's put the basil in there. And like I said, you can put a lot of other ingredients. Put more tomatoes maybe, but that's enough. I'll just put basil. So pick just the leaves. And just stick them in. You don't need to cut them or anything. It's good enough. There you go. Let's go, some more here. I'll pick it all in. Oh, they smell so nice. Ooh. When you grow things organically, the flavors that you get, it's just you don't want to eat anything outside. That's what you grow. All right, let me just put that down. I think I picked too many, but doesn't matter. It won't go to waste. We'll make some pesto later. All right, so okay, that'll do. All right, so now let's blend the leaves, and we're ready to go to do the next part of this section. All right, so let's go here. Okay, that's done. I've got tuna. I've got a can of tuna in oil, which I will, what do you call it? I don't like the oil. I'll get rid of the oil. And this is what we're going to do. Just get rid of the oil. Alright, so here's our tuna. 425 grams, it's a big one. So I'm going to put the meat in there, the tuna meat. And I'm going to get some of the salsa. And like I said, you can have it actually on many things, but today we're going to have, so we're going to add to it. Right, and I won't add all to it because it's, so we'll see how we go. I want to make it certain thickness. That smells so nice. Now you can add lots more than I'm adding. You can add cheese to it, like parmesan and things like that. But I like to keep it as natural as possible, except the tuna. Well, it is natural. So, but let's have a look. And so we've got our pan heating. I'm going to put some oil in it. Small amount of oil, olive oil. Again, and we'll let that warm up. Now, I've got some Italian rolls here, like little small baguettes. So let's have a look. And what we're going to do is cut one in half, and we're going to sort of give it a little fry there, and then we're going to put that on the bread, the fried part of the So let's just cut it. Try not to cut my finger. Here we go. Now, just letting that to warm up. Now, get a plate. We'll plate that later, and move this out of the way. It's a bit. There we go. There we go. So we got that, and then we're gonna just wait for that to heat up. Now I've got some garlic. If you want to rub garlic on it and that, you can. But there's garlic in this already, so I can cut the garlic and rub it onto there, like they do with bruchetta or bruschetta, however you pronounce it. And so let's have a look. And see if I can crush it. Maybe it's too thick and the knife is too small. Okay, and what they can do is they can rub some garlic on it slightly, if you wish. Let me just crush it. I'll use my hands, might be easier. Oop. There you go, crushed garlic. There you go, there we go. Rub it on there, and let's have a look now. This is ready to go. It's a bit hot than I want it. Just dump it in there. We can make a few out of the same batch of oil. Okay, just lower the heat. Okay. Soon. Right, and if you want to make more, you make more sauce, a tomato sauce like I showed you, and then you add a lot more to it, and you can have a pasta sauce with it. I mean, it's homegrown tomatoes, and that's what I'll do. Next one is going to be a pasta sauce for it. So that's what we'll do now. This is getting nice and brown, so it's all good, and we'll add this to top of the bread, and you can have more tomatoes on top of it, or avocado or whatever. So this is almost ready. A little bit longer, a minute or so, and so that's easy. So this is and we'll have a taste test with my friend that's filming me. So we'll have a look what he says.
Yay!
As well. It makes life easy than doing it yourself. So here we go. No, that's not bad. Yeah, here we go. Be nice and crispy. I'll only do this on one side. I'm not going to do it on two sides. And like I said, just that still a little bit soft. You know, sometimes I prefer it to be a little bit hard. The roll, if you want a bit hard, you leave it to the next day. This is fresh this morning. So, and that will do it for us. Let's take them out and you can see them. So that's good enough. And now the next thing is, we just put that on. You can add some cheese, like I said, to it. Anything else that you like.
Lettuce.
Yeah, anything, or you can have a salad with it, which I haven't made. But, you know. But for the purposes of this is the main dish. So we're going to look at that. Oh, bit of tuna there, big chunk. There we go.
Delicious.
Let's hope so. Let's sit at the table. I'll get your plate, my boy, and we'll taste it.
Alright.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the tomato thing that we just ate. I thought it was fantastic. So
Bellissimo.
Did you like it?
Oh yeah, that's good.
Quick and simple, right? And everyone would appreciate eating that. Everyone.